any state are broken, a duly authorized organization swings into action. It may be called the state police, state troopers, militia, the rangers, or the highway patrol. These are the stories of the men whose training, skill, and courage have enforced and preserved our state laws. Patrol, because of the nature of its work, comes in contact with two main types of people. First, the lawbreaker, either careless or deliberate. Second, the innocent victim of an accident or a criminal act. Occasionally, the patrol must deal with a third type of person, often the most difficult to handle. Someone who, while not guilty of a crime, becomes, through his own immaturity and fear, a fugitive.
Friend or foe?
Friend.
Give the password.
Oh, come on, open up, Jimmy. It's me.
What took you so long, Eddie? I've been waiting a year.
I had to go to the store for Ma.
Oh, I sneaked out before my folks got up. It's always better that way. Hey, wait till you see all the swell food I got. It'll last us a week. Apples, cookies, candy bars, and half a pie. What did you bring?
I'm not going, Jimmy.
What do you mean you're not going? Why, we had it all planned.
I've been thinking. It's all kind of sudden. Now, if you could make it next week.
Next week? You know where I'll be next week if I don't get away now.
Yeah, I know.
It's gonna be fun. Remember what I told you about Lake Dawson? Dad's got a cabin up there. My real dad, I mean. And we can go swimming and hiking and... Oh, Eddie, don't be chicken.
Who's being chicken? Maybe you ought to go to the hospital anyway.
What for? I'm okay. Sure, my eyes act funny sometimes, but they don't hurt. It'll all go away. Nobody's gonna get me in a hospital. Come on, Eddie.
I'd sure like to, but my birthday's coming up, and Dad promised me a new chemistry set. You aren't sore, are you, Jimmy?
No, I'm not sore. But you won't tell anybody where I'm going, will you?
No, I won't tell.
Wait here 5 minutes before you come out. Then nobody will see us together. That's the way it's always done.
Okay.
So long, Eddie.
So long, Jimmy.
You've just got to find him, Mr. Matthews, before something happens.
Well, it's still early in the morning. He can't have been gone more than 2 hours. What makes you think he's run away from home?
Oh, I found this note on the kitchen table when I got up to get breakfast.
Thank you. Dear Mom, I know you mean well, but I don't need an operation. Don't worry, I'll be all right. I won't need my catcher's mitt. Give it to Kenny Fisher. Love, Jimmy. What's all this about an operation?
It's his eyes. That's where you've got to find him. And he took his bicycle, and we told him not to ride it. He could be killed.
You better let me explain, Mrs. West. You know, Dan, I'm an ophthalmologist, an eye specialist.
Yes, I know.
Well, last week, Jimmy was accidentally hit over the eye with a baseball bat. It didn't seem too serious at first. And then he started stumbling and bumping into things and complaining of flashes of light. Mr. and Mrs. West brought him to my office 2 days ago. After a thorough examination, I discovered a traumatic strabismus.
Just a minute, Doctor. You've just lost me.
Well, that is, the blow on his head impaired the coordination of his eye muscles. He couldn't focus properly, judge distance.
That's why he was bumping into things?
Yes. We also found evidence of a detached retina. That would cause blind spots in his field of vision.
And he's riding a bicycle in that condition. It was all I could do to keep my husband from getting out of his sickbed to go and find him.
It is serious, Dan. The boy needs absolute quiet. Now, ordinarily, I would insist that Jimmy go to the hospital immediately while I arrange for an operation.
Jimmy's afraid of hospitals. We thought we'd made him understand how necessary this operation is.
Tell me, Doctor, is the boy in danger of losing his eyesight?
Yes, there is a danger. A slight blow or a minor accident could increase the retinal detachment. I'm afraid I couldn't be optimistic of an operation under those conditions.
I'm afraid we're just going to have to try and find him.
Oh, thank you.
Are there any relatives in this area he might go to?
Just his father in Ridgely.
His father? I thought you and Mr. West lived here.
Oh, Mr. West is Jimmy's stepfather. Jimmy's real father is James Adams. But Jimmy wouldn't go there.
How can you say that?
Jimmy knows his father would check back with me if he showed up there all of a sudden.
I'm sure he would if you were on friendly terms.
Oh, we are. We take Jimmy to see his father 3 or 4 times a year. We're quite good friends. But Jimmy knows his real father's away on a business trip. We got a letter just last week.
Well, if he's going to run away, he might want company. Maybe a kid his own age.
Well, I've called the parents of all the children Jimmy plays with. None of them have seen him.
Why don't you give me a list of all his pals and his playmates, and I'll check them out.
One by one, the Highway Patrol questioned Jimmy's young friends and their parents. No one had seen Jimmy Adams that morning, and no one knew of any plan to run away. Parks and playgrounds were covered with negative results. Then, for the second time that morning, a patrol car stopped before the home of Eddie Streeter, a close friend of Jimmy's.
Hi, you Eddie Streeter?
Uh-huh.
I talked to your mother about a half hour ago. I said I'd call back.
Mom's next door.
Yeah, I know, but I want to talk to you. Oh, by the way, I'm Dan Matthews, Highway Patrol. You want to check my credentials?
They're okay. Won't you come in?
Thanks. Eddie, tell me, how's your friend Jimmy?
Jimmy? Oh, he's okay. Jimmy who?
Jimmy Adams. I understand you're very good friends.
Yeah, I guess so.
When'd you see him last?
Last night. Yeah, last night.
Well, you know that Jimmy's going to have an operation on his eyes, don't you? Now, it's not going to hurt him a bit, Eddie, but it's very important to him, because if Jimmy gets a bump on the head or hurt, he's liable to have trouble seeing for the rest of his life. That'd be pretty bad, wouldn't it?
Uh-huh.
Well, there's one thing he can do for a pal like Jimmy. Tell me where he is.
What'll you do to him when you find him? Arrest him for running away?
No, it won't be anything like that. We'll just make sure he gets the operation, that's all.
Will you tell him I told you?
Not if you don't want me to. Now, where is he? Come on, Eddie, where's he going?
He's going up to Lake Dawson.
Lake Dawson on a bike? That's 75 miles away.
Yeah, Jimmy.
Oh, wait a minute. How's he going to get there? What highway is he going to take? Do you know?
I don't know, mister. He didn't tell me a thing. I don't know.
One thing. When did you see him last?
About a half an hour ago. I don't know.
Eddie, you've done Jimmy a big favor.
You won't tell him I told you, will you, mister?
That's the way you want it, and that's the way it's going to be. Is that a deal? Thanks. Kid's on his way to Lake Dawson on a bike. He can't be too far away.
What route's he taking?
I don't know. He's got 3 choices. So have we. We might be able to pick him up before he gets too far out of town. Call headquarters.
You all right, kid? Are you hurt?
Look what you did to my wheel.
Are you okay? I tried to stop, but what happened?
I just got dizzy. Look at my wheel.
It sure is smashed. Where were you going, kid?
Lake Dawson.
That's about 60 miles from here. Where do you live, kid?
In Parkview, just outside the city.
Well, we're not very far from Templeton. I could put your bike in the truck and drive you into Templeton and get your bike fixed. And you could call your folks.
You'll fix my bike?
Sure. Come on, grab your stuff. I'll take the bike.
Doctor, this is Matthews, Highway Patrol. No, we know he's headed toward Lake Dawson, his father's cabin. We've got all available officers searching up there.
I just left the boy's mother at home. She's quite upset. If you could possibly let me know at the first opportunity.
Well, I've notified all hospitals in the area. If and when we find him, we'll bring him to you right away.
I'll have everything ready.
Thanks, Doc.
Look, kid, I was just thinking, we're not very far from Parkview. Why don't I call up your folks and they can come and get you?
We haven't got a phone or a car either.
Oh? How about a neighbor or a friend?
If my bike is fixed, I can go on to Lake Dawson. You said you'd fix my bike.
Sure, that's why we stopped here. Look, kid, I'm gonna go look up a place to get your bike fixed. You sit here in the truck, okay? Hello? Hello, operator. Give me the Highway Patrol. This is an emergency.
He admits he lives in Parkview, and he's headed to Lake Dawson.
Then maybe he is the runaway you're looking for. Well, what do you want me to do?
Mr. Hastings, you stall at the gas station. I think that's our boy. I'll send a car to pick him up.
Okay.
Movements of an adult criminal can sometimes be predicted. At least law officers can be sure of certain moves a fleeing criminal will not make. But a frightened runaway boy like Jimmy Adams presented a more baffling problem. Knowing that he was being sought by the Highway Patrol, Jimmy decided on a simple strategy: a bus trip to his real father's home in nearby Ridgely. There was no way of knowing whether or not the fall from the bicycle had further impaired Jimmy's vision. Any accident could cause permanent injury to his sight. The search efforts were redoubled.
Sergeant, contact the bus station at Templeton and all surrounding towns. Have them report on anyone. I repeat, anyone buying a half-fare ticket to Lake Dawson. Now, the kid might get cagey, have somebody else buy it for him. What? No, keep the units working in that area. He might even be hitchhiking. We don't know. Right.
Hey, Jimmy, this is a surprise.
Hi, Dad.
Sure is nice to see you, son. Say, how did you get here?
I come up on the bus, all by myself. Mom said I could stay with you a while.
Sure, why not? Come right on in. I'll be glad to have you. You know, you caught me just in time. I was just on my way back to work. Hey, I wonder why your mother didn't let me know you were coming.
She was going to send a telegram. At least I think that's what she said. Maybe she forgot.
It's typical of your mother, eh, Jimmy? Hey, everything all right at home?
Oh, sure. Except my stepdad is sick.
I hope nothing serious.
I don't think so. He's home in bed, and Mom's taking care of him.
Oh, so that's why she sent you up here, and probably why she forgot the telegram. I'm sorry about Ralph, but I'm sure glad to see you, Jimmy. Hey, is this all the luggage you brought?
Huh? Luggage?
Well, sure, you're going to be here for several days. It isn't like your mother to send you off without some extra clothes and things.
Oh, my suitcase. Doggone it. I must have left it on the bus. Gee, Dad, I'm sorry.
It's all right, forget it. I'll check with the bus depot later. But I better call your mother and tell her you got here all right.
No, Dad. I mean, I've already called her. From the bus station.
Oh, say, that was thoughtful of you. Well, I better write her a short note and just tell her that you can stay here just as long as she wants you to.
A note? Okay, and I'll mail it. There's a mailbox down at the corner. Can I, Dad?
Sure, why not? Then I can go right on to work.
Dad, what I was thinking, we could go up to Lake Dawson. You know, like we did last summer.
That would be fine, but my vacation doesn't come up for several weeks yet.
Oh, gee. Couldn't we go now?
I'm afraid not. But maybe we can run up over the weekend. We'll see.
Yeah, that answers the boy's description, all right. What time's the bus get to Ridgely? Oh, we must have gotten off a half hour ago, if he got off. Check all units in that area, will you? Right. Oh, come in. Please sit down.
Thank you. Is there any word?
Well, Mrs. West, we have a possible lead.
What is it?
Don't get your hopes up. Templeton called. The agent of the bus depot said a boy answering Jimmy's description did buy a ticket.
To Lake Dawson?
I thought you said his real father lived at Ridgely.
He's gone to Ridgely, and James won't be home until tomorrow.
Please, we can't be sure it's Jimmy. Now, do you think there's somebody home at Adam's house?
No, not unless he got back a day early.
Has he got a phone number there?
Ridgely 52179.
Dad, you promised I could mail it.
Oh, I forgot. Say, there's some food in the icebox if you get hungry. And when I come home from work, we'll go out to dinner and maybe to a movie. Okay?
Okay.
Okay, son. See you
Come
about
on,
6.
Dad. Hello?
I'd like to talk to Mr. Adams, please.
He's gone to work.
Oh, I see. What time do you think I could catch him? This is Matthews, Dan Matthews. Get on the extension. Listen, don't talk. Now, what time do you think he'd be home, please?
I think he'll be back about 6 o'clock. Could I take a message?
No, it's not very important. I'll call him about 6 o'clock.
Yeah, 6 o'clock.
Jimmy! Jimmy, are you all right? Jimmy, answer Mother. Jimmy. I'm sorry. I just couldn't help it.
Dispatch 3212 to this address immediately. 418 Maple in Ridgely. The kid's there. Do me a favor, Mrs. West. Go home with your husband and wait. Please, please.
The patrol learned that Jimmy had left his father's home in Ridgely. Headquarters requested that the local radio stations broadcast a description of Jimmy to motorists traveling the roads to Lake Dawson. Indications were that the boy with his dangerously faulty vision was again hitchhiking on a busy highway.
Hey, kid, what do you think you're doing?
Just trying to get a ride.
Yeah? Well, I was here first, and I've been waiting a long time. Now, you get along up the highway, up around that curve. Go on, get. Now, what got into that crazy dame? Hey, maybe we do better together, huh? You know, if there was a guy driving that car, he'd have picked us up. You want to team up with me? Just to the next town.
Yeah, you bet. Thanks, mister.
Okay.
ride clear up to Lake Dawson?
Lake Dawson? Lake Dawson's over 60 miles away. Going there by yourself?
Sure. If I hadn't wrecked my bike, I'd be there by now, I betcha.
Hey, you run away from home, didn't you? Didn't you?
Please, Mr. Gorman, don't turn me in. If I'm with you, the police won't ever know.
So the police are after you? Oh, well, that's just great. But I'm not getting mixed up with no runaway kid. You get going. Go on. Get away from me fast, you hear?
All right. Up the highway like you said?
Yeah. No. No, wait. You want to get off the highway. There's an old road off that way, about a quarter of a mile. Highway Patrol won't be checking it. Now, you get going. Straight across country.
Thanks, mister.
Yeah. And good luck, kid.
As a result of the radio broadcasts, the woman motorist reported a boy of Jimmy's description 5 miles down the road. Her further mention of an unshaven, disheveled transient sent the patrol into action. Afraid of being involved, the hitchhiker at first denied having seen the 12-year-old boy. When told that the woman motorist had seen 2 persons on the road, a boy and a man of Gorman's description, his attitude changed. He agreed to direct the highway patrol to the point where Jimmy Adams had left the highway.
That way.
All right, keep an eye on him. Jimmy, you're down.
How come you know my name?
Well, I've been looking for you. What do you say we go home to your mom?
They'll take me to the hospital. They'll operate on me. I don't need an operation.
Well, now, Jimmy, wait a minute. You got hit over your eye with a baseball bat. Is that right? Did it hurt very much?
A little. But I didn't cry.
Well, naturally. Now, believe me, that baseball bat hurt 100 times more than the operation would. I've already checked with the doctor. Now, come on. What do you say we go home to your mom?
She's probably awful sore.
No, she won't be sore when you arrive in a highway patrol car.
A real live patrol car?
A real live one. What do you say, fella? We go? All right, hop in, young fella. Call Mrs. West and the doctor. Tell him we found the boy. He's okay.
Well, thanks for your help. We'll drive you back to Bedford if you like.
If it's all the same to you, I'd just as soon walk.
Next week's case, handled by the Highway Patrol, is a very exciting one. We hope you'll be with us. Until then, remember, the careless driver isn't driving his car. He's aiming it. This is Broderick Crawford saying see you next week.
Whenever the laws of any state are broken, a duly authorized organization swings into action. It may be called the state police, state troopers, militia, the rangers, or the highway patrol. These are the stories of the men whose training, skill, and courage have enforced and preserved our state laws. Patrol maintains a constant vigilance throughout the entire state in its never-ending fight against crime. Burglary is one of the most common crimes, and yet every case poses its own special problem for law enforcement agencies. On a Saturday morning, Lou and Mike Parker carefully began what should have been a simple, well-planned burglary. But in the execution of that burglary, an unforeseen accident thwarted their plans and forced a frightened citizen into a serious crime.
Oh, so far, so good. Where's the night watchman?
The other side of the building.
It's 11:27. It will take you a minute to get out of this building and a minute to get to the car. At exactly 11:29, I'll blow this safe. Now, as soon as I do, the alarm will go off, so you better get that car motor running.
I know. The cops will be storming this place in less than 5 minutes, as soon as you blow this thing.
I'll meet you at the car at exactly 11:32, okay?
Right.
All right, take off, little brother.
Watch that stuff, huh?
Yeah.
Highway Patrol, Dennis. Mitchell Plastics. Right. Mr. Matthews?
Yeah, what?
Report from the phone company. The safe alarm is ringing at Mitchell Plastics on Woodmere Boulevard.
What units are in that area?
Johnson, Harvey, and Livingston.
Tell Johnson I'll meet him at the plant. Have the other units close off Highway 63.
Right. Headquarters 3310. Headquarters to 3310.
the door! Shut the door!
What's the matter?
I just killed a man.
You what?
At least he was lying there when I left him.
Flying where? Who?
I don't know who he is. I was driving out by the factory road in the back. And all of a sudden, a man came running out of the entrance of the plastics factory. And I hit him.
What plastics factory?
Oh, I don't know. It's about 4 blocks away from here.
And then what happened?
I got out of my car and I ran out to have a look at him. And all of a sudden, there was an explosion and a bell was ringing. And I got scared and I ran.
Lois, we're going back to that man. And if he's still alive, we're going to take him to a hospital.
Yes, you're right.
I'll call the ambulance now. Every minute may count. Operator, would you send an ambulance?
Looks like this job was pulled by real pros.
How many do you think there were?
At least 2, maybe more. One of them neutralized the front door alarm, the other forced it.
Well, these factories around, somebody must have seen him.
On a weekday, they probably would. This is Saturday, there's nobody around.
Where was the watchman?
They timed it while he was on the other side of the plant.
How many exits to this place?
Just this one, and the rear exit's on the mill road. But the rear exit gate's been locked for hours, so the mill road's out.
It happened about what? What would you say? Say 10 minutes ago?
Right.
Look, Peter, the police.
The hospital must have called them. Where's the ambulance?
Peter, I'm scared. Help me, Peter.
Of course I will. Is this the exact spot where it happened?
Yes.
Bloodstains.
Where is he?
Well, somebody must have come by and taken him to a hospital.
All right, what's going on here?
We got a rush call, no victim.
I'm Matthews, Highway Patrol.
Peter Emery, my wife Lois.
Send for an ambulance?
Yes.
All right, what happened?
I was driving down this road about 15 minutes ago. I wasn't speeding. I wasn't doing more than 35 miles an hour. When a man came running out of that building to a car parked here, it all happened so quickly, I couldn't stop in time. I hit him. I ran out of the car to see what I could do for him, and I was so frightened. Then there was an explosion, and the bell was ringing, and I got scared. I just ran.
What bell?
I don't know, somewhere in there. A bell was ringing. I came home, and I told Peter what had happened. Peter called for an ambulance, and then we came here, and now he's gone.
It's like I was telling the doctor here. Somebody must have come by and taken him to a hospital.
All right, describe him.
He was about 5'10", blonde. He was wearing a brown leather jacket and blue shirt and pants.
Thanks. $21.50 to headquarters.
Headquarters by.
Alert all hospitals and doctors within a 15-mile area. Be on the lookout for a blonde guy. He's about 5'10", wearing a blue shirt, blue pants, and a leather jacket. What have you got in the checkpoints?
Negative.
10-4.
10-4.
You said something about a parked car.
Yes, it was parked right in front of where we're standing, right here.
What kind of a car was it?
Two-tone green sedan, I think.
I'll put it up.
Okay. Mrs. Emery. You say you were going 35 miles an hour?
Yes, sir.
What's the injury potential on a guy hit by a car going 35 miles an hour?
Well, depending on where he was hit, how fast he was moving at the time.
What do you think, Doc?
Well, when anyone's hit by a car going 35 miles an hour, it's usually fatal. But here I'm only guessing. I don't know the extent of the injuries.
You two wait inside the plant, huh? Come over here, take a look.
How do you feel, kid? Feels like my chest is caved in. Where are we? We're in an empty warehouse a couple of blocks from where you got hit. As soon as the cops move out, I'll get you to a doctor. How bad am I hurt? I don't know, kid. I'm no doctor. I wish I had something for this pain. It hurts. How much was in the safe? Over $70,000, enough to buy a dozen doctors. All I need is one. As soon as those cops get out of here, I'll take you to a doctor right away.
All hospitals check out negative. All doctors in the area have been contacted and so far report negative.
Alert all units. Two-tone green sedan carrying a badly injured man. Give out the descriptions I gave, huh? Right. Well, how do you feel?
I'm all right.
Why'd you leave the scene of the accident?
I don't know.
Hope the guy you hit doesn't die. For your sake.
The strange coincidence of a robbery and a hit-and-run victim created a bizarre situation. Dan Matthews and the Highway Patrol were now involved in finding the criminals, one of whom might be dead because of the accident.
Matthews.
Yeah, what?
What did you mean when you said that you hope the man is alive for my sake?
You hit a man, you left him in the street. That's a felony. If he dies, it's manslaughter.
Is she under arrest?
No, we haven't got a victim or a witness.
Can I take her home?
Yeah, take her home.
Thanks.
No place else.
Highway Patrol, Dennis.
It's Matthews. Peter and Lois Emery, 610 Palm Drive. Put a tail on him.
Peter and Lois Emery, 610 Palm Drive. Description?
What do you got from the checkpoints? Anything?
Checkpoints report negative. I have reports from R&I.
Go ahead.
MO of robbery fits Mike and Lou Parker, two brothers who served time for safecracking. Released from state prison about 3 months ago.
Anything else?
Yes, the lab tests of blood smears on road at scene of accident are type O, the same as Lou Parker. Description by Mrs. Emery fits Lou. We put it on an APB on Mike and Lou Parker.
Circulate the description. You got it, brother?
Yeah, 2 of them.
If you were Mike Parker and your brother was hurt, where would you take him?
Well, if I didn't know how badly he was hurt, I'd try to get out of the area as fast as I could. And if I were really smart, I'd know where I could find somebody to treat him.
It wouldn't have to be a doctor.
That's right.
Highway Patrol, Dennis.
It's Matthews. Check the record on the Parker brothers. Prison as well as civilian life. See what medical contacts they have.
They're still out there. Well, they've started to move. As soon as they do, I'll get you to a doctor. Supposing they don't move. They will. It's no good, Mike. Hey, stop giving up so easily. We got $70,000. We got it made.
Sure, Mike. Sure. Supposing you take me to a doc. Doc will call the cops.
I'm taking you to Doc Hastings.
He's no doc.
He was good enough for those guys in Stern. He's only 15 minutes away. Hold on, will you, kid? Hold on.
Peter, just what are you doing?
We're getting out of here.
What? Why?
We're going so far that if they want you, they'll have to extradite you.
Peter, we can't run away.
We've no choice. You heard what Matthew said. If that guy you hit should die, they'll hold you for manslaughter.
And what good will running away do?
Well, it'll give us time. It'll give us time to find out what happened to that guy you hit.
Suppose he dies?
Then we'll never come back. Never.
What do we do for money, Peter? How do we live?
Well, I could close out the account at the bank. That should hold us for a while.
And what about this house and everything in it? Everything we built up for the last 10 years. How do we take that with us? Peter, why didn't you think of that when you asked me to go back to the scene of the accident?
Because I wasn't thinking. I was only reacting. Like a righteous citizen. I never thought beyond that first step. But I'm thinking now.
Peter, you're thinking all wrong. You were right. You were right when you asked me to go back to the scene of the accident. I'm staying. Peter, we can't go away now. We can't.
Oh, you're right, honey.
Any calls?
Headquarters just called. There's a report from R&I and the Parker brothers.
What do they got?
Well, there's a man named Jack Hastings, also known as Doc Hastings. He served time with the Parker brothers, worked in the infirmary. He and the Parkers were released from prison at the same time.
Anything else?
He's working a chicken farm now just outside Malvern.
Check him out. The Parkers might be with him.
Right. You got an idea?
Have you?
Hold on, kid, just a little bit longer. Those cops are not going to stay out there forever.
It's no use, Mike. Get out of here while the getting's good. You got $70,000. You can do a lot of traveling. You can cover a lot of miles with 70 grand.
Now, look, will you stop talking like that? I'm not going any place alone. We're gonna make a break for it.
You mean you are?
No, us. Looks like the cop is staying out there, but we're not.
You'll never make it with me.
Okay, but at least we can try. No sense staying here.
How you gonna move me without killing me?
I'll find a way.
Headquarters checked on Doc Hastings. Negative.
Anything else?
No.
They've got every road covered. They gotta be around here someplace.
They got stakeouts around the chicken farm. Check on Highway 84 is negative.
You got any ideas?
Have you?
Oh, you're a great help, thanks. You know what's bothering me?
No, what?
We've got no ideas.
I know.
We can't move.
It happens that way sometimes.
Maybe they can't move.
What do you mean?
There's 3 roads out of that factory. We've got them all covered, right?
The suspects haven't moved past our checkpoints.
Well, maybe they haven't gotten to them.
Maybe the victims hurt so badly they can't move too far, huh?
Well, that could be.
We've been working an assumption they'd break out of here and run for a doctor.
Suppose they couldn't.
Then they must be in this area.
Yeah, that makes sense.
If he's hurt badly, they may be closer than we'd think.
Have all of the units move in.
As they move in, we move out.
Somewhere in between, we're going to find the Parker brothers. Come on, let's go.
Which direction?
The car was headed north. They're probably going the same direction. You take one building, I'll take the other. Come on.
Hey, where's your doctor?
You may have another gun.
Let's live dangerously and find out, huh? On your feet, Parker. Come on! What about my brother? I'm going to get him to a doctor. What can I get you? All right, move. Come on, move. See Highway Patrol again next week. Until then, remember, it isn't what you drive, but how you drive that counts. This is Broderick Crawford saying, see you next week.
Whenever the laws of any state are broken, a duly authorized organization swings into action. It may be called the state police, state troopers, militia, the rangers, or the highway patrol. These are the stories of the men whose training, skill, and courage have enforced and preserved our state laws. Equipped car is the primary means by which the Highway Patrol achieves high-speed mobility in order to combat organized crime. A patrolman would no more abandon his car than his gun. And yet, on July 22nd, a migrant worker proceeding along Highway 15 came upon a patrol car, engine running, keys in the ignition lock, but empty. The citizen hurried to telephone his strange discovery to Highway Patrol headquarters.
I've checked the radio log. Allard was in contact up to 12 o'clock.
Well, the sergeant says he was on regular detail, no special orders. Let's find out for ourselves. Come on. Looks like he stepped out of it a second ago into thin air.
There's no sign of a struggle.
Wait a minute. Here's something over here. Tire tracks. In a hurry to get away. Get the evidence, kid. I want an impression of these tracks. He's got to be around here somewhere. I'll get some help. $21.50 to headquarters.
Headquarters, bye.
Allard's car in reported position. Send someone down to check it for fingerprints. Also, all available units for search party. Send Allard's picture to the newspapers. Ask TV and radio to broadcast a description. 10-4?
10-4.
examination of Officer Allard's car had revealed nothing except that the radio was out of order. Newspapers and broadcast stations had cooperated fully, resulting in a number of false leads and an interview with Frank Hanley, a car painter.
No, it couldn't have been that, officer. All right, thanks very much anyway. Right. Now, go ahead, Mr. Hanley.
Now, this auto paint shop where I work, just across the street, there's a lunch wagon. Now, this officer stops there for lunch. I see his patrol car there lots of times, around noon. In fact, I was watching for him, and when he drove up, I run over to him, and I said, "There's something funny about that car." And I pointed it out.
What car did you point out?
The one I painted. It was just coming out of the shop then.
What did the officer do?
He took right out after it.
Tell me, are you sure it was that officer?
Oh, yes, yes. He chased it towards Highway 15.
What kind of a car was it?
Well, it was a 56, four-door sedan, painted light green. I painted it black.
Mr. Hanley, when a car comes to your shop and you make out a work slip, do you also take down the license number?
Oh, yes.
DMV, please. St. Matthews, Highway Patrol. Get me a 2829 and license number 2 Nora 57516. Repeat, 2 Nora 57516, right? Did you get a good look at the guy that picked up the car?
You know, that's another reason I suspicion him. When he come in, he had a bandage on one side of his face, and he kept that side towards me. Said his car needed a paint job. No, that car didn't need a paint job.
All right, go ahead. What, a green 1956 four-door sedan. Registered to who? Theo Nielsen? Let me have the address, will you? Theo Nielsen Bookshop, 921 Main Street. Right, thanks very much. You've been a great help. Would you mind waiting? I'll send one of the boys in to take your statement.
Yeah, sure.
Thanks a lot.
Yeah.
Well, it looked like your car.
But, Mr. Matthews, there are hundreds, perhaps thousands of autos just like mine.
Not with your license plates. Now, perhaps your plates were stolen, put on a car just like yours.
Ethel is very considerate.
Come again?
If the license plates were stolen, she wouldn't want to worry me. She'd just drive back from her holiday without any fuss and tell me when she got here.
I see. When did you enter your car?
It's almost a week now. She should be back at any time. I know she's on her way back. Mr. Matthews, will my name have to be in the newspaper?
Well, until we talk to your friend, there's nothing we can tell the newspapers.
My bookshop, I've had it here for 10 years now. And my customers. I wouldn't want my name to be in the newspapers, Mr. Matthews. It would be too embarrassing.
Miss Nielsen, there's a man missing, perhaps murdered.
It's horrible.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, we're going to have to pick your friend up on the highway and question her. We can't wait till she gets here.
Mr. Matthews.
Larry.
Just let us handle it, will you?
They got to her first.
Take it easy, George.
Look, we'll do everything we can, but we need your help.
Headquarters to 2150.
I'll keep in touch with you.
All right.
2150, bye.
We were on our way out of town, all free and clear, and you had to use a gun.
The cop had us with her car repainted and the numbers hacked off.
He wouldn't have looked for the numbers, and I could have talked her into thinking I did the new paint job for her.
What about the 10,000 you talked her out of? That'd get us 5 to life. How are we going to cover that?
Good talk, sweet talk. She's a love star. She'd give her last cent for a promise of marriage, and did.
You had to con her out of a car, too. We were doing okay, just lifting and selling them. No, you had to take her for everything she was worth. And I had to be your brother. Well, this time you conned us right into the hot seat.
We can always shut her mouth.
Not if she's talked to the cops already. Look, I said, let's get out of here.
And leave a witness that can hang us? And maybe she hasn't talked. Go watch that cop and signal me when he's gone.
10-4.
Oh, Larry, thank heaven you called.
What's the matter?
Where's your brother? What is he mixed up in? Larry, a policeman was here. He says my car has something to do with the missing officer we've been reading about.
Didn't he ask to look at your car?
I lied, Larry. I told him I'd loaned it to a friend.
Oh, but you didn't lie, dear. I'm your friend. And more, I hope. Theo, the police have made a mistake because, well, you see, I've already gotten your car.
Oh, Larry, you have, thank heaven.
Now, listen carefully, Theo, dear. Your auto's in a used car lot here in town. My brother sold it to the dealer. I'm going down now to buy it back for you. After all, from now on, it's going to be my job to protect you.
Well, shall I call the police and tell them it was all a mistake about my car being mixed up?
You don't understand, Theo, dear. The dealer has promised not to prosecute my brother if I pay for the car. I want to keep the police out of this. I don't want my brother to be hurt.
Neither do I, Larry. And I don't want you to be hurt either.
That's my girl. And now if the police do call again, just tell them that you'll be able to show them your car tomorrow. And maybe even today. You trust me, Theo?
Of course I do, Larry.
And do you love me?
Yes, Larry.
And you're still going to marry me?
Yes, Larry.
Call you later, dear.
Well, what do we do now?
We'll get rid of her in the brush on top of Canyon Pass on our way out of here.
How are we going to get her up there?
With my brain instead of your gun. Come on, let's go.
You sure did a good job of burning this one, didn't it?
You sure did. The description seems to check with the one Hanley gave us.
What about the license numbers?
Plates are gone.
Fingerprints?
Not a one.
Is Dorsey here?
Yeah, he's over there checking in the brush.
Well, the engine number will show it's her car.
No, they've been chiseled off. The body serial number has been ripped off, too. Over here!
Come on. Allard. Call headquarters and get the coroner out here. Then get a tow truck. I want that burned out job at headquarters. Dorsey.
Yes, sir.
That's got to be her car.
Well, there's always the chance it isn't.
Everything points to it being her car. You better get Miss Nielsen in again for questioning.
Nielsen could not be linked to the burned-out car by the numbers on the engine, body, or license plates. They had all been obliterated. Still, every circumstance indicated that she had owned the car.
Miss Nielsen, I'm sorry I have to put you through all this, but I hope you understand.
That's all right.
All right, Miss Nielsen. You do admit you own a 1956 green four-door sedan. You say it's a couple of 100 miles away from there.
Yes, I told you a friend.
A witness saw your car. The license plate checked out to be yours. It was right here in the Springwood area.
He could have been mistaken.
Right, thanks very much. Now, Officer Allen chased his car to Highway 15. 2 hours later, the patrol car was found empty. But there were tire tracks there. We took an impression. Now, this is the impression of his tracks and a car exactly like yours. Do you notice any difference?
I don't know. There are many cars like mine.
24 hours later, 10 miles away, we found the car that made these tracks. Deliberately destroyed, burned beyond recognition. A car exactly like yours, Miss Nielsen.
Well, maybe when you find the patrolman.
We found Patrolman Allen. He was dead. Murdered. 50 yards away from the burned-out car. Your car. The murder car was your car, Miss Nielsen.
No. I know where my car is.
Where?
I'm getting it back today.
From Ethel Willoughby?
No. From a friend. A man to whom I loaned it. Larry has a younger brother. Oh, I'm so confused. I don't know what to do. could Larry's brother have? But then how could Larry promise me?
Why don't you level with me? Why don't you start from the beginning?
$1956, light green sedan. She'll never know the difference. Especially when she sees her own license plates. Put them on.
That's all I know. All I know about him.
Well, Miss Nielsen, I'm sorry. I think you should take it for a car and $10,000. I don't think it's a younger brother. I don't think it's Larry Gardner again either.
Please. May I... close the shop. But I won't go. I don't ever want to see him again.
Well, you could help us by meeting him.
But why? He's made a terrible fool of me. Robbed me.
He's also suspected of murder. Does he know you've told me about him?
I didn't tell him.
All right, then he'll meet you. All you have to do is show at the parking lot. Then we can nab him.
All right. I'll meet him.
Now, you'll be well guarded. Now, act as usual. Close the shop at the usual time, then walk over to Highway 15. It's only a few blocks. And remember this. One of us will be near you at all times.
All right, Mr. Matthews.
Thanks. Get Dorsey and Johnson in here right away, will you?
The used car lot at Main and the highway was immediately staked out by a plainclothesman in an undercover car. A block away, concealed from the used car lot, Dan Matthews waited. Directly opposite Nielsen's bookstore, Officer Dorsey, in plain clothes and in an undercover car, maintained a close surveillance. All units were in constant communication. All necessary measures had been taken to protect Miss Nielsen and to apprehend the criminals. It was important to the plan that Miss Nielsen play her part well.
Hello.
Hello. Just to let you know we're here. We will be for about the next 5 hours. I'm parked right across the street. If you need me, just give me a sign. By the way, do you have anything in early crime detection, about 1890s?
Yes, I have it in the bag. Most of my calls are for modern crime detection. I'll be right back.
Theo, dear.
Help, officer! Help, officer!
Let's get out of here. Come on.
Are you all right, Miss Nielsen?
Yes.
$21.12, $21.50.
Go ahead, 2112.
Gardner and accomplice making getaway from Nielsen's bookstore, 1956, light green four-door sedan.
Direction of suspects unknown, 10-4?
10-4. 2150 to all units in Springwood area. Be on lookout for a 1956 light green four-door sedan, probably on Highway 15. Occupants are armed and dangerous. One is Larry Gardner, age, I'd say, about 50. He has one accomplice. Now, 3244, you search east on Highway 25. 4220, search west on Highway 25. 10-4?
$42.48 to $21.50.
Go ahead, 4248.
4248, 10 miles south of Springwood on top of Canyon Pass. 1956, light green, four-door sedan. Approximately 3 miles below me, approaching from Springwood. At moderate speed.
And block Canyon Pass at top. Converge on Canyon Pass from east to west. I'm coming in from north. 10-4?
10-4. $42.48 to $21.50.
2150, bye.
Suspect car has U-turned, proceeding back down Canyon Pass.
10-4.
I've never used a gun. He shot Allard.
He pulled the trigger, you mean? All right, move. See the Highway Patrol in action again next week. Until then, remember, leave blood at the Red Cross, not on the highway. This is Bradley Crawford saying see you next week.
Whenever the laws of any state are broken, a duly authorized organization swings into action. It may be called the state police, state troopers, militia, the rangers, or the highway patrol. These are the stories of the men whose training, skill, and courage have enforced and preserved our state laws. One of the most difficult assignments faced by law enforcement agencies is locating and apprehending the criminal who operates from behind a legitimate business front. Such a criminal team were Sid and Ginny Rollins, who 2 days before had made the down payment on a small roadside cafe.
Well, this is it. By this time tomorrow, we'll be in business.
Think we'll be ready?
Why not? We've got the rest of the day to get the place organized. This one-arm joint is just about perfect. Centrally located, easy to get to, and strictly legit. We're lucky to find it.
Lucky to catch the old man in a selling mood.
Are you kidding? We're giving the old coot a break. Well, Skipper, here we are. You can take off your apron and call it a day.
Bet you thought we'd never get here, didn't you?
No. In fact, I was hoping. I don't know how to say this, Mr. Rollins, but, well, I thought it over, and I've changed my mind.
What do you mean, changed your mind?
I don't want to sell my place.
What about your vacation?
It sounded all right the other day, but I've got all I want right here.
All you've got's the going away blues. Once you get started, you have a million laughs. Come on now, let's wrap up this deal.
I'm not selling. Here's your $500 back.
Look, if this is just a store of the fat and the price, I'll go another bill or two.
Oh, it's not that.
Look, you signed an option, Skipper. We've made a lot of arrangements.
I'm sorry if there's been any inconvenience, ma'am, but I'm not selling. Here's your money.
You can't back out now. We've notified a lot of people. We gotta have this place.
I'm keeping it, and that's final. Don't try to bully me. Now take your money and get out.
You hit him too hard, Sid. He's dead. What are we going to do now?
We have to get him out of here. Get the car and bring it around back.
Where are you going to take him?
I don't know yet. I'll find a place miles from here. I'll hide him good. While I'm gone, you set up so we can operate. Get going.
Hey, Skipper, you got a customer?
Yes, sir.
Well, I'll be. You're a new addition around here, aren't you?
That's right. What'll you have?
Where's the skipper?
Oh, he's not here anymore. He sold out.
He what?
That's right. He sold out to me and my husband, went on a nice long vacation.
Are you pulling my leg, girlie?
No, it's true. Want to see menu?
No. No, thanks. I guess I ain't hungry after all.
Having hastily disposed of the skipper's body, it now became necessary to prevent or at least delay identification long enough for Sid and Jenny Rollins to finish the operation at the roadside cafe and be on their way to the next location before the law could move in. Sid left no identifying clues on the body.
Oh, can I help you?
Well, I'm not sure.
You're not sure?
Well, I don't know whether it means anything or not, but there's something peculiar going on a little cafe out on Highway 118 near where I live.
Well, what is it that's peculiar?
Well, for one thing, the owner has disappeared.
Excuse me just a minute. Go right on in, Mr. Flint. Mr. Matthews is expecting you. Now, what was this about the cafe?
Hi, Bonnie. How are you? Sit down.
Fine, Dan. Thank you. Dan, the Narcotics Bureau needs some help. We've got to get a new line on a ring of dope peddlers.
Why do you think we can help you?
Well, it's like this. We know that a big shipment of heroin has arrived in this area. We've lost complete track of it. We don't know who's got it or where it is. All we know is, generally, how the ring's been operating. Now, that's where your boys come in.
You mean they've been using the highways?
Yeah, in this way. They'll pick out a central location on a main artery and set up a legitimate small business.
Where people can come and go without arousing suspicion.
Exactly. And they'll distribute an entire shipment of the stuff in a matter of a few days and be gone. By the time we work back through the customers, to the pushers, to the wholesaler, all we find is a deserted business establishment someplace and have to start all over.
What do you figure? They're sitting on the shipment now and they're getting real itchy.
Plenty. They'll be moving at any time now. It's an opportunity for us if we get on top of it fast. Now, your men cover the highways every day. One of them might just spot these people for us.
It's okay. Hit his body in the culvert about 40 miles up the road. I got rid of all his identification.
There was an old bird in here asking about him. Guess he was a friend of his.
What did you tell him?
He'd sold out and gone on a vacation.
Here, look.
Are you the owner here?
That's right. Well, technically, the skipper still owns the place. We're in the process, you might say.
Well, where's he now?
Off on a vacation. First one in 10 years, he said.
Do you have any idea where he went?
No, he didn't say exactly.
Well, he has a sister up north. He probably went to visit her. Why, officer? Anything wrong?
Well, Mr. Brandon here is worried about him.
It ain't like the skipper to do that. Sell out and run off without telling me.
Well, what are you to him?
His best friend. Known him for 30 years.
Well, all I know is we paid him $500 as sort of a down payment. Here's the receipt right here. It's an option to buy the place.
That's his handwriting, all right. You sure moved in fast.
Yes, we did. We saw the place, liked it, and the old man was ready to sell. See, I wouldn't worry, Mr. Brandon. You'll most likely get a postcard from him in a day or two.
I can't understand it. I just can't understand it.
Well, I guess this takes care of it. Sorry to have bothered you.
Oh, that's okay. Stop at any time.
The following morning, a hunter found the body hidden in the culvert and notified the Highway Patrol. An officer was sent to the scene. 2 hours later, his report was filed in Highway Patrol headquarters.
Just a minute. On this unidentified body, I found out who it is. His name is David J. Mason, nicknamed Skipper. Ran a little cafe out on Highway 118. A friend of his just made the identification.
Is that the friend?
Right, his name is Joe Brandon.
Captain, wait.
Man just identified the body that was found in the culvert this morning. David J. Mason, known as Skipper. Runs a little cafe on Highway 118.
How'd you trace him?
Johnson did it. He talked to a friend of the old man's yesterday. Tied it in this morning when he read the report.
Is the fella here now?
He's outside. You want to see him?
Yeah, bring him in.
Come on in. This is Joe Brandon.
Mr. Brandon, I'm Matthews. Sit down, won't you?
It's all the same. I don't feel like sitting down.
All right, fine.
It's them two in the cafe, Mr. Matthews. They did this.
Why do you say that?
Because they lied. The skipper never acted like they said in his whole life. Selling out all of a sudden and running off that way.
Well, we talked to them, Mr. Brandon. They explained it.
Not good enough to suit me. Not by a long shot.
Well, they paid him $500 for an option. They've got a receipt to prove it.
Well, if he had $500, robbery could be the motive. That's anybody's motive.
The skipper was no puppy. He wouldn't flash his money around. He wouldn't sell that place of his either. Well, he might have thought about it some, but he'd never go through with it.
What's so special about the place?
Nothing, except that he liked it, was all that he had. And for some reason or other, that man and his wife wanted it. Wanted it bad enough to kill him for it. Poor old skipper, he never hurt anybody in his life. Now he's dead. And them two in his cafe did it.
Mr. Brandon, we understand how you feel. We understand completely. We appreciate your help. We'll take it from here, all right? Make sure he gets home, huh?
Oh, I'll get home, all right. I always have.
Call Barney Flint at Narcotics. Tell him I'll pick him up in 5 minutes.
This is the place.
Right on the main highway. Plenty of chance for business.
Think they'll recognize you?
No, that's why I was sent out here.
I know they don't know me. Let's go in.
Fine.
Hello.
How are you? It's a nice place you got here.
Like anything else?
What do you suggest?
Cake, pie? How about a nice hot bran muffin?
Not for me, thanks.
Got any sugar handy?
Yeah.
Thanks.
What do you think? Anything to worry about?
I don't think so. But don't get into any conversation with them. We want them to leave as soon as possible. Hi.
Say, by the way, you folks been here long?
Not very. Quiet as it show.
Well, as I remember, an old man used to have this place.
That's right. He sold out. 20 cents, please.
20. Thanks very much.
Thank you.
What do you think?
I don't know. I didn't make a thing. Did you?
No.
They're either legitimate or smooth as silk. It's too good to pass up.
Let's take it out from across the street.
I'll have one of those special lunches to go out.
Right.
You won't forget the sugar. I got a real sweet tooth.
How many?
6. How much?
60 cents.
A paper bag.
Yeah. What do you want to do, Barney?
Let him go. And wait for one I'm sure of.
Having permitted one possible dope pusher to escape, the next hour passed slowly for Dan Matthews and the narcotics agent. No new customers approached the roadside lunchroom they had staked out as a front for the wholesaling of heroin.
You know a man can grow old doing this?
To me, it's the toughest part of my job. Sitting and waiting. What are you going to do?
Sounds like the Army. Hurry up and wait.
Yeah. Hey, look.
Oh, fine. What's he doing over there?
You know it?
Yeah, he's a friend of the former owner. He thinks they killed him.
Could ruin everything.
You're real easy.
Hi there. Awfully sorry to hear about your friend Skipper.
I'll bet you are. What are you going to do about the place now?
We paid our $500. We'll just have to settle up with the heirs.
He hasn't got any.
Here comes another customer.
Yeah. And this is one that counts. It's no coincidence he's here, Dan. It's Leo Blocker, a well-known pusher.
Believe me, Mr. Brandon, we feel just as badly about it as you do. Excuse me, please.
Very cute.
Thanks, we like it. What'll you have?
Give me one of those special lunches to go out. Oh, say, miss, don't forget the sugar. I've got an awful sweet tooth.
How many?
About 8. That's all. How much?
80 cents.
Take the change.
Thanks.
He's got a bag, all right. Okay, let's take him.
You watch the cafe. I'll follow him and pick him up.
In Joe Brandon's confused and angry mind, he knew something was wrong. Special lunches, sugar from a special box. It had to mean something.
What's the trouble?
Highway Patrol, you're under arrest. Put your hands on top of your head. Come on, turn around.
What's the charge? You haven't got anything on me.
We will have when we search your car.
I want to get treated like the rest of your customers.
Meaning what?
Well, for a starter, you can give me one of those special lunches to go out. And I want some of that sugar down there. Maybe I've got a sweet tooth, too, like the other fella had.
Sid.
Yeah?
$21.50 to headquarters.
Go ahead, 2150.
I've got a prisoner. Have a unit meet me at Skipper's Cafe. 10-4?
10-4.
Now we're going back and find that bag you threw out.
I don't know what you're talking about.
You don't, huh? Get in.
I don't understand what's wrong, Joe. We're just trying to be friendly.
Friendly, eh? That's a hot one.
Oh, you haven't given us a chance.
I don't intend to. There's something funny been going on here.
What do you mean, funny business? There's nothing wrong here.
Nothing wrong, eh? How come when I ask for some sugar like the other fella did, she gets all riled up?
You're just imagining things.
Imagining things, eh? Well, I'm not the only one. The head cop on the Highway Patrol thinks there's something funny going on here, too.
What makes you say that?
Because he took right out after that customer of yours, the one you gave 8 lumps of sugar to. Got right on his tail when he went down the highway.
The cops grab Leo, we're through.
Maybe he's making it up.
Making it up, eh? Why don't you wait and see? Does my heart good to see you both scared to death. I only wish the skipper was here to see it.
He's not lying, Sid.
Why, you...
Wait, we don't have time for that.
You're right. Throw the stuff in our car out and back. I'll take him with me. I'll meet you on Crescent Hill.
Right.
Now, do you know what I'm talking about?
Not knowing the results of Matthews' search of Leo, Barney Flynn was unable to act. If Matthews had not found narcotics evidence on the pusher, then the arrest of Sid Rollins could be a mistake. Since the girl was still in the restaurant, Barney decided to wait for Matthews' return.
The men took Brandon out. Looked like he had a gun on him.
Where's the girl?
She's still inside.
Keep an eye on him.
What are you going to do? This.
car right in back of us.
I'll fix him. Pull up. Come on, let's get moving.
I can't. It must be flooded.
Don't bother, you're not going anyplace.
What about Sid? Is he dead?
Yeah, just like the cafe owner. Come on, get out. How do you feel, Mr. Brandon?
Terrible. I bet he feels worse.
You're right, he's dead. Take care of her. I'll call her in. See the Highway Patrol in action again next week. Until then, remember, leave your blood at the Red Cross, not on the highway. This is Roderick Crawford saying, see you next week.